It is Saturday, and Saturdays are made for fighting. We got a big guest on the show today, JFB.
Yeah, we do. Yes, we do. We have
The
a
machine.
we have the machine, the AEW machine, otherwise known as Brian Cage, coming to you live from our studios.
Without further ado, let's play that intro and let's get this show on the road.
Let's rock and roll.
I got my mic turned on and I'm ready to go. It's time for the All Effin' Wrestling Show.
Welcome to the Saturday edition of the All Effin' Wrestling Show. In case you're wondering, guys, why in the world are you guys coming on Saturday? It's because we have a special guest. Now, before we get into that, this show is brought to you by SWA Sabres. Now, SWA Sabres, they have two types of sabres. They have your cosplay sabres, the ones that you bring out when you go out to the Comic-Cons and whatever, but they also have combat versions of their lightsabers. Now, if you and your buddies want to beat the living hell out of each other with a bunch of lightsabers, SWA Sabres is the only way to do it. Link is down below. Now, it's time to go ahead.
Introduce yourself, JFB, and I'll introduce myself, and then we'll bring in
I
Brian Cage.
am, of course, your teacher of the dark custodial arts. I am the professor. I am the JFB, James from Boston.
And I am the patron saint of professional wrestling. I am that gingered up, bubbly son of a bitch. I'm Ken Effin' Dry. And now, the moment you've waited for. Play the intro.
Okay, I got a nice little 3D animation intro. That's cool. I'll wait for some.
Hey, you're
I-
big
I-
news, brother.
I got. Let me critique a couple things. I was waiting for some music to hit there. I feel like we're missing something there for the big celebration. Also, you cut my man off over here. I felt like he was about to hype me up and give me some good introduction, and you just jump right to the point. You're like, we have the machine, and he was like, oh yeah, we got AEW's machine. I was like, oh, I felt it. I felt that he was going to go in on a 17 moniker name tandem and put me over for an hour and a half, and you cut it off. That's what I do.
Yeah.
Look. Now I'm the machine. I'm Mr. GMSI, Mr. Get My Shit In. I even had a California license plate with that on
There
there.
you
He
go.
was trying to get his shit in, and you cut him off. Come on now. Do the business for yourself.
I apologize. I jumped the gun. I'm a little
No. You were the one that was going to put me over. He cut me off. He cut you off. Excuse me.
This guy has a penchant for cutting me off.
It is so good to have you on the show. This is our biggest show we've had, so you're really putting us over by coming on.
Oh, well, awesome. Glad to. You know, too, actually, you guys were putting over the lightsabers earlier, too. You know what? Lightsabers are cool. I've had some, like Darth Maul is like my favorite by all time. But I've always wanted just a light. Like I don't have to hit anybody. I want it where it's just a beam of light, so it looks like an actual lightsaber, so you can actually turn it on and off like a real lightsaber, and just to make the sound. I'm like, why haven't they made that? I feel like that'd be easier to make too, because it's just a light. Like you have to have a pretty strong projection light, and have to obviously be dark enough.
These
But
SW Sabers are pretty amazing.
Yeah, they actually
they're virtually indestructible. You can run over them with your car.
No, that's great. I mean, the handle, but I don't want anything on the top. I want it to be just the
hilt.
The base of the sword, and then just light. I don't want any plastic. I don't want anything. I don't need to hit anybody with nothing. I just want I just want the action of woo and the light appearing. That's what I want. I've always wanted as a little kid, and I remember I even bought one time because it was from some Temu whatever kind of ad I saw or whatever, and It led me to believe that's what it was going to be, and I was so pissed when it wasn't. And it was a decent quality lightsaber, but it wasn't what I wanted. Anyways,
So
I'm not here to talk about that.
a few years ago, I actually built the Darth Vader lightsaber from its original parts. It
Oh, yeah?
was not fun and not cheap.
Well, um, well, anyways, well, what do we got today? What are we talking about, guys?
The
Besides
first
lightsabers.
thing that we want to get into, and it's very important to me, is we talked about this a little bit in our pre stuff here. Um, Tell us about your faith and how your faith plays into your wrestling career and how it plays into your life.
Um, well, I've always been a believer in Christ and God, and I've always gone to church. And obviously, there's times in my life where I wasn't going to church as consistently or religiously, even I guess you could use that word. But it's funny. Like I remember even growing up, just because I just thought like everyone went to church or everyone believed in God, and just they didn't go to my church. I thought it was like going to school kind of. And like as I got older, I was pretty shocked to see like how many people not only didn't go to church, but how many people, especially in this day and age, like don't believe in God. And I was like, oh, what? I thought that was just like a thing, like oh, we don't really go to church, but I didn't think like it was that big of a deal. Nevertheless, yeah, it's always been something I've stand by, and I feel like even on this knee injury that I have right now, I'm jumping the gun and jumping real forward, but there was a lot of, just to sum it up and I get detailed, there's a lot of trouble at the home, and I really feel like my knee being torn is 1,000% a big part of what just saved my marriage. And I was praying an awful lot about it, and it wasn't the answer I wanted, but I mean, almost 100%. I think is the answer that I needed, and it's things happen for a reason. I think that is why it happened, and long term is for the greater good. Obviously, horrible for my career, but for the personal family life, I think that was substantially needed. But yeah, I've always been a believer in Christ, and as I talked about, a lot of people saw the baptism video I posted, and I don't know why, but I just, as I touched on that, I never wanted to get baptized. I wasn't like against it per se. I just had no desire, curiosity, or interest. I don't know. I just didn't want to do it. And then yeah, I just, I don't know what, for whatever reason, something just reached out to me 2 weeks prior, and I go, you know what? I think I'm gonna get baptized here in a couple of weeks when they do it. And then it was so much cooler that my daughter, on a when she usually always goes to the um, like the Sunday school, with all the kids,
Yeah.
and she just happened to go um, to the main place with us that day, which she, like I said, doesn't ever normally do. And just out of nowhere, she's like, I want to get baptized. And she had no idea I was getting baptized. And so for us to get to go do that together made it that much cooler, and to be shared. But yeah, I don't, rub anybody the wrong way, or shove it down anybody's face or throats. If like somebody isn't a believer in Christ, isn't religious, whatever the case, I don't think, oh, I'm holier than thou, or I'm better than you, or look down on you, or I can't be friends with you, or whatever the case. Um, I would, I prefer not be there. But if anybody ever wants to talk about it and like openly and honestly, and or interest or seek out, like obviously I would totally be there, and I love that. But I know we're as a believer, you're supposed to spread the word of God, but I also feel like if somebody's like really just not there, I feel like you trying to force your beliefs on someone else.
Absolutely.
You work out that way, and also I'm not trying to make that the sole thing. I'm not, like I've always hated, like I said, lifelong believer in Christ, but I've always hated and that's a strong word, the people who are downtown or some party area, like on a megaphone, condemning everyone, saying they're all
The
going to heaven.
repent signs, right?
I'm like, listen, like even that's even that's the truth. I'm like, the way you're going about it isn't
Yeah.
going to convert anybody. It's just more of like, you look like a crazy cult leader. Like it's
Yeah.
like I said, as a believer, I'm like, I'm turned off by it. Like, dude, stop. Like, that's not the way.
Your tag team partner in the Murder Machines, he's also has a lot of faith.
Oh yes, Lance, very much so. And I do like to reach out and talk to him about certain stuff, and I do, and I don't do this, and I do pop for Lance. And I'm eating meals all day long, all the time. But whenever I'm catering, whenever we're eating, Lance always does a little prayer before he ever eats, and I always think that's awesome. He one ups me on that one. So, and I'm blessed to have actually, my current marriage and actually previous relationships to really get my significant other, even if you already believe, to get them more involved in the church and involved in the religion. And I feel like they almost surpass me in their faith and their belief. And like even Melissa, my wife now, she actually works at the church right now a few days a week in the child care for special events and whatnot. And it's just something she wanted to do and to be involved more with the church. So that's really dope.
One of the things I only pray when it's something really good that I'm eating.
Right. Well, and that's the thing too. I understand like a lot of people do that, including myself. Like, I feel like, oh, you're always asking for something good, or it is even that. I feel like everyone always turns to God when it's rock bottom, right?
Yeah.
So like when things are going good, even though that's still thanks to Him, it's kind of like I got this. We'll put it in cruise control. We're cool right now. Then as soon as stuff takes like a left turn or goes south, you're like, well, hold on a second. And I mean, I know that's what even I was talking about, non-believers or whatnot. I feel like there's a lot of people like on their deathbed right beforehand. They're like, well, shoot, what I got to lose? Maybe hold on. Maybe I need to switch something real quick here before I'm about to pass away.
Fire insurance.
That's one thing too. I say like it's funny, but also, I mean, the truth to it. I'm like, look, if I'm living life like there is a God and I'm wrong, what did I really lose out on? Yeah. I mean, the Christianity.
You lived a good life.
Yeah, Christianity, any faith-based, I mean, it's a morally correct way to live, and it's not like everyone looks at it as more like it's some sort of like rules and restrictions. You can't do anything, you can't have fun, and blah blah blah. Like no, and I go, but look at the opposite. If you're living life like there is no God and you're wrong, I'm just saying it's not. I mean, if you just go on that aspect, if you want to just the pros to con way out in a statistic field. It's kind of better to be the opposite. So, but anyways,
Jeff
well, yeah, let's talk about. Inevitably, we're going to have to get to this question. I want to kind of get it out of the way a little bit earlier, but what led you down the road to become a professional wrestler? I mean, were you a fan growing up?
Yeah, no, I was a fan since I first saw it at 5 years old. I was a fan forever. I actually got grounded from watching it for several years, just from I remember because we'd always roughhouse and break stuff, and like I have three brothers, but my older and younger brother at the time we usually beat up our younger brother more often.
Yeah.
And my mom just got sick of it, and I don't remember where this memory comes from, but I remember like somebody had like some kid, and I don't mean necessarily like in our neighborhood, but somewhere in some place, I don't know, had gotten killed from some wrestling move or something. So my mom lost it. Was like, you guys are never watching wrestling ever again. And then remember we used to sneak watch it, like it was like it was a porno or something. So Monday night happened to be frozen meal night, just coincidentally. So like that was a night off. My mom wouldn't cook or make anything, and she's like, "Look, you guys just grab it out of the freezer, whatever." So it'd be hot pockets, whatever TV dinner situation. And so we get to take that meal to our room, which normally if it was on a plate, not microwave, we'd have to eat in the kitchen. So it worked out even better. That just happened to be on, and like we would just turn it on and turn the volume like all the way down and just watch. Like I said, like you're watching like a porno. It's so funny. And then we'd have like the channel, like the remote ready to change the channel as soon as somebody walked in the room. Like, oh no, we were watching that. And that worked for a while until we got busted, and our stepdad walked in and caught it. He goes, "You're not guys are supposed to be watching that." But we were allowed. But yeah, from like I would say 8 to 10 or 8 to 11, somewhere around that age range, I was grounded from wrestling. It sucked. And then I kind of thought it just wasn't on anymore because we weren't allowed to watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I was a lifelong fan, and I wanted, since I was 10, I wanted to be a pro wrestler. I was like, you know what? I remember thinking too, like, all right, Shawn Michaels had his boyhood dream at 12. I was like, I have it at 10. I got him beat by 2 years. So
Wait, is this when kind of the health and fitness and working out aspect started coming?
No, it's funny. I wasn't a big, like fitness nut, but I was always intrigued and interested. Like I always, even again when I was younger, like 8 years old and stuff, I was like, I always wanted a Bowflex. I wanted a Bowflex so bad for so long. I always see the infomercials, and I was, and we were pretty poor growing up. Mom's like, I'm not buying that, and I was always really into martial arts, and I always wanted to be martial arts. And A, my mom couldn't afford it, and then B, I also was a terrible kid, really terrible kid. Like I actually have been writing this little biography about myself, so to speak, since I've been out. and I'm writing all these like fun childhood stories because I think they're fun and they're funny. And the
Yeah.
more and the more I'm writing them and reading them, I go, damn, I was such a shit. I mean, like if that was my kid, I'd be beating the living hell out of me every single day. And I did get beat a lot. I did get like, I even said that actually in the book too. It's like I don't want people to think like, you know, us white kids don't get beat. I go, my mom beat the hell out of me, which actually I'm thankful for too, because had she not, I wouldn't have changed, and then I would be this. I mean, the shit I was doing was like absurd. From pyromaniac stuff to breaking into people's houses to and everything as I'm writing it, it's so nonchalant, and he's going and I remember how I felt in the moment, and the same, like everything was so like it's not that big of a deal, like because I had no like ill will behind me. I just was like kind of curious. I'm like, but still like I'm literally picking this lock to get in the person's house. I'm like lighting stuff on fire and throwing it on people. Like it's crazy. And that's just a couple small things. I actually even map quested. So I remember we didn't go home. Me and a few of my friends, we went to their house and we told their parents they were all coming with me. My parents to Chuck E. Cheese, and we all lied and like ran away to Chuck E. Cheese. And I was walking out from my hometown, and it was a 2.5 mile walk when I was in second grade. I go, I walked 2.5 miles in second grade. I go, and I even then like, and I'm obviously know how to get there in my head now. I go, how the hell as that youth did I even know how to walk there? And not like it's just.
I think we're born with this thing to get us to Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah.
Right. And,
It's
well, and
installed
it's funny because like I wouldn't trust seeing my kids to walk down the street now. Now here I am freaking oh man. But there's so many stories I can keep going on to forever. But and I don't even wait, hold on. I don't even remember the original question. I got so lost on a tangent talking about all my nonsense I was doing as a kid. What led me down the path? What was asked? I know we were talking about wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the age range and whatnot. But yeah, so okay, let's just go back to that. So yeah, 10 years old, I wanted to be a wrestler. And everyone would be like, oh, you grow out of that, you grow out of that. And I was like, no, I I was in junior high, so I wanted to be in high school, so I wanted to be it. And a lot of people kind of started to like doubt me and almost also like I don't want to say be disappointed, but like I just felt like they wanted something better for me or more real.
Yeah.
And I think more so realistic that I could actually obtain and accomplish. And I'm like, no. All you haters are going to see. I'm like, you guys are just feeling my desire to make it happen, which, hey, here we are.
Yeah.
You probably heard Chris Jericho's story where he's up in front of his church saying he's going to the Heart Camp wrestling thing, and they all laughed at him.
I have actually not heard that story.
Yeah, you probably asked Chris about that. It was on one of his podcasts.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's like, I know my mom gets a little upset too because like I would always be like, yeah, my mom wasn't real supportive, and she's like, what? I support it because I actually ran my own company for a while too, and she was pretty supportive about that. But like, I was like, but I was telling my mom, I was like, yeah, but as I was growing up, and I would continuously say, this is my passion, this is what I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. You'd always be like, okay, like it was just like a little kid, wanting to fly or something. Like, okay, that's just the childhood fantasy that would fade away. And I go, you never really took me literal, and like even then, you were kind of like, yeah, but like you got to do something real, So the only people that really kind of believed me was my younger brother Justin, and then my grandma as well.
Sorry to interrupt your podcast, but I need one of these chargers.
What?
I need one of these chargers.
What charger?
And we need to charge the AC, the Nest, and I need one of these.
I don't know what the Android one.
I guess so.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry, there's like a million things happening in my house.
That's okay.
I don't. Okay, well, I don't know that.
Well, we're not going to be able to. He's not going to be able to fix it if that's not charged.
Well,
and I'm leaving out the door. So yeah. Yeah.
We have so much different home stuff going on right now. We
a lot of home stuff, and I gotta go. Bye.
Bye.
Let's go.
You want to say bye too? Say bye. Oh my gosh, come here. Say bye.
Oh wow.
Bye.
Bye. Why'd your mom just sleep in here? Say besitos, give him a kiss. Mwah.
Mwah.
Give him a kiss. You guys just say bye. All right, come on, let's go. See you later. Come on. Come on.
Get inside.
Babe.
Get inside. I'm never gonna leave.
Okay. Hey, bye. Say bye, Logan.
Come on, Logos. Let's go.
This isn't recorded.
Hi, I'm glad I'm live. Hi. Authentic.
It's awesome.
All right. So yeah.
let's switch gears here. Well, kind of along the same sort of flow. 10 Tell us about what Kris Kanyon meant to you, and how did you meet him?
So he was always one of my favorites in WCW, and mainly too because of his innovative style.
Oh, we got a picture here, Brian.
Oh yeah, that's like after we're friends. Yes, the good old Who Better Than Canyon Diamond Cutter, Canyon Cutter. So I was always a fan of Kris and all of his innovative style from Mortis to Canyon, and even when we'd backyard wrestle and whatnot out in our little field at the place that we lived, I would always like emulate a lot of his moves, a lot of his stuff, and like to me his style and what he did like really stuck out. Um, and I never went to a WCW show. I was always more of a WWF fan. So I remember when they had the invasion angle and Canyon was going to be there, I was stoked to like finally see him live in person. And I remember I made a Who Better Than Canyon sign, which actually is up there on the wall. Sign.
heck yeah.
And he saw it in the during the Austin Appreciation Night when Angle comes out and sprays him all with milk. He saw a sign where he had pointed at me. He came back out. He gave me the Who Better Than Austin shirt, which is in this box over to the right of me. It's just harder to get to, so that's why I'm not showing that. He signed my sign. He signed that. It was awesome. I put the whole experience on his website and on his message form. And the webmaster had forwarded it to him, and then like one day randomly I just got an email from Canyon just saying, thank you, that he appreciated the sign. He goes, you don't see too many Kris Kanyon signs, and he's like, that was awesome. And he goes, as much as I wanted that keep that shirt because it was such a memorable experience, I was thinking like, you know what, would make this night more memorable is that kid that had that sign. So I remember he came out as I was walking up the stairs to leave because we were down at the 6th row. And he was looking around for me, and I just happened to look down and see him walk around. I freaked out and I ran back down there. And he was like, "Oh, here you go, kid." He gave me the Who Better Than Austin shirt they had had that night, and I just created an awesome core memory. And I remember it made me want to be a wrestler that much more too, because I wanted to share that experience to make some other fans' night that memorable as well, just because it was such a unforgettable experience. So like. He had emailed me. He goes, feel free, email me back here or there. And of course, I blew him the fuck up and emailed him all the time. But and he like rarely ever responded. And then he just happened to get hurt, and so there's a little bit more communication. Whatever. Long story short, he actually happened to be at this California show that I just happened to be at and had tickets, and I popped. It was him, and I went and I was waiting outside where all their cars were, and I had the sign still, and. When he was like driving out, I was like waving the sign, and he like double took and he pulled over. He goes, "Oh wait, are you Brian?" And I go, "Yeah, you met you in Sacramento and whatever." So that just like kind of like bled into our friendship. And then like the more I talked to him and wanted to be wrestling, and he gave me advice, this and that, and then wherever they were in California, they'd get tickets, or he'd get tickets for myself and my friends to go to the shows. And then he ended up helping me get into Deep South Wrestling when he had moved back to Atlanta, which was a developmental territory at that time. And I went over there, and that's kind of how I got my foot in the door, which led to me loosely getting signed about a year and a half later.
What was it like playing Mortis?
Oh, it was awesome. I remember, so I was over at his house when he had just announced his retirement online. And where he goes, "Hey, so since I'm fully retired, I was wondering, since you know my style, my moveset better than anybody else." He goes, would you be Mortis? And I go, what? He goes, well, because that way I'm retired, but that way, I can still have some namesake left in the biz. And I go, oh, absolutely. So he gives me the whole outfit, and it was so dope. And then, I would do shows as Mortis and as Brian Cage. Sometimes I'd do double shots, and I would be like, I have to be Mortis afterwards, because I put this all this black face paint on my eye and the contacts in, and it was a big deal. It took a lot, but it would be so stuck on me. Like I can't go back out as Brian Cage because the charcoal won't come off, and it's just too much of a nightmare. Actually, I did this one Royal Rumble kind of match. Really wanted me to be Mortis and Brian Cage, but by the time I got thrown out as Brian Cage, I'm like, there's no way I have enough time to come back out as more. I was like, it takes way too long. I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to. And they said, okay. And then I get eliminated as Brian Cage, and I'm back there. And they're like, oh, the next one, Mortis. And they play on the music, and everybody's looking at me, and I go, I freaking told him I can't do it. I don't know. And then number 27 or wherever he was never came out because I'm like, I don't know what he said. I was like, I told him I couldn't do it. So I don't know why he kept that in there, but all right. But no, it was great. And I remember the first match I had as Mortis, I sent it to Kanyon, to have it to review. And he texted me, absolutely phenomenal job as Mortis. Please keep doing it. So that was a great compliment. And I wish, I wish that was more in today's world of wrestling because there'd be plenty of, of footage or gifs or clips of that of me as Mortis. But so it was basically just the old, camcorder days. So there's footage of it. I'm sure somebody has in their garage somewhere, from random indie feds. But unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of it to share online.
Yeah, I went through Reddit and a whole some of the tape trader channels to see if I could get any footage, and people were like, it'll take me like 2-3 weeks to go through all my footage to figure out if I have anything.
I should have in one of my CDs somewhere. I think I still have at least the first match I do really like is Morris, which is the main one I'd want to keep. There's a couple pictures that I've posted somewhere when I come across them. My friend, I was talking to him not too long ago. My friend who would record a lot of like NorCal, like indie wrestling,
Yeah.
he had his own little channel, and he had several matches with me as Mortis on there, as well as other just Brian Cage matches. And I don't know why, but he freaking, I mean, this was years ago too. He like erased the channel, and he didn't have any of the backup footage, so all his videos are just gone.
Oh no!
I know. I was like, it costs you nothing to have it on. You know what I mean? You can just I made a new email address. I made a new account. Like, you don't have to like. So he's like, I wish I would have never done that. I go, it's like, so it's not like you got something by, you know what I mean? It was like, oh, I couldn't keep it because of this, and you just chose to erase it. I go, that sucks.
Yeah.
So did Kanyon ever come out to you out of the closet?
Yeah, I was actually at work. I was on my break, and he had called me, and I was talking to him about this, that, whatever. And I remember he was, I think that was right before actually I was going to go to Deep South Wrestling. And he goes, oh, hey, I wanted to really, talk to you about some stuff. And I wasn't really sure what he was even getting at. And he goes, because I don't know if if you'd want my help still, if you want to be like attached to me or whatever. And I'm like, what's this guy getting at? And then he goes, I want to let you know, like, Brian, I'm gay. I'm a homosexual. And I was like, and I've told the story before, and some people take it kind of bad at first. And I was shocked because I didn't know that at all. And it's funny too because like I know people had like made jokes or comments about it, or whatever else too, about him. What if Kanyon's gay? That's the only reason he's talking to you, kind of situation. I was like, oh, shut up, guys. And I remember I was like, wait, what? And then I was more. I was shocked, and I was kind of like sad and disappointed. That's when people get like upset, like, "Oh, what, Brian?" But it's because like this guy not only was my friend, but more so he's like this hero and idol of mine, and there was nobody I really knew that was gay, and gay wasn't a cool thing, and it's funny because that's actually what made me way more accepting of it, if you will. And it wasn't like I was like against it or whatever, but I was just like shocked and sad. And I was like, oh, and he told me, I was like, and I was surprised. And I was like, well, no. Like, I'm like, I don't care. I just want to be attached to you. And I still want your help. And that doesn't change anything. And, it was a short conversation. He gets off the phone. He's like, okay, I just wanted, I wanted to personally tell you before I come out and tell everyone, because I didn't want you to be caught off guard or and if you were, he goes, if you were offended or upset, or he goes, I'd understand, I didn't want to be mad. I go, no, of course. So anyways, we get off the phone and I sit there and I'm like I said, like, I'm kind of like bummed out, if you will. And I'm like, and then instantly I go, wait, why do I care? And I go, does that change anything? I'm like, he's still the same person. He's still just as funny. He's still just as cool. He's still the phenomenal wrestler that I like as well. And I go, I don't care. And I was like, oh, fuck, whatever. And then like it was so funny, and it was such a fast transition too of like, and I think the shock value is what made me feel more like wait, what? Like you just find out like whatever news, good, bad, indifferent, it's just a shock. You're like, oh, what? Like you can't believe it, so to speak. And then I'm like, oh, I don't care. And And then I remember like he'd even make jokes about himself all the time, and we became like better. And like and I think that really. There's actually a really good friend of mine in the biz, and I don't know if he's fully open as well, so I don't want to just say it. But I remember I kind of assumed he was. A lot of us did, and I remember he was like asking me. He's like, "Oh," he probably goes, "Hey, how did Kanyon ever come out to you?" And I was like, "Oh," and I start telling the story in my head. I go, "Oh, he's about to tell me right now." He
Yeah.
goes, "Oh, I was just curious, and whatever, yada yada." He goes, "Yeah, because I am too." And I go, "Yeah, I know, dude. Who cares?" And then I was like, I know this is gonna be a big reveal, but it wasn't that big of a, and it wasn't like, and that's the thing too. Also, with both of them, neither one of them are very like flamboyant or over the top, eccentric, and I think that's too. Like, obviously, people do exist like that, but I feel like that's the stereotype is if you're gay, you're this, over the top, turned up to 11, eccentric person. But obviously, like with both of these friends of mine too, like they're just a normal guy. They just happen to be gay, not straight. So I mean, that's why too. There's like oh, I didn't know, but I could just feel it from him. Like, oh, he's gonna tell me. Anyways, but yeah, no, that's I do. I think that was. It's not like I would have been against it otherwise, but I feel like that was a good like little development for me and just growing as well for Kanyon to be gay and for him to come out to me in that way and the how much and how suddenly I was like, oh, well, who cares?
Yeah. So we're talking. We talked about you getting into wrestling and starting to work out and fitness. Let's talk about advice that you're going to give to someone that comes up to you and says, "Hey, I want to get into shape. I want to lose some pounds, maybe get some better cardio." What advice do you give to someone that's just kind of starting out, wanting to work out and get better, healthy?
So real quick, I remember when I said I was 8 years old in the Bowflex. That's where I got sidetracked with all the little kid stuff.
Yeah,
Um, and I said wanted martial arts, but I was a bad kid. My mom didn't want. That's why she didn't want to reward my behavior with putting martial arts. But also, she couldn't afford it, and also putting me in martial arts might have corrected my behavior. I didn't get fully into fitness, start working out until after high school. Actually, the day after I graduated, I hit the ground running, and my PE teacher opened up the weight room. A sophomore PE teacher I was good friends with. He knew I wanted to be a wrestler. Had at summer school, and he's like, "I'll open up the weight room for you if you want to work out throughout that summer." And that was like when I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go do it," because I was 150 pounds when I graduated. And I'm like, "This is gonna cut the mustard if I want to be a wrestler." I'm like, I gotta make a change. So that's the best advice I give someone to is start today, not tomorrow. Everybody wants to do it tomorrow,
yeah,
and also consistency is the key. Every diet, every workout, everything works. A lot of them will be different. They're all not created equal. They won't all give you results. But the best diet, the best program is one you can stick to. So
yeah.
if you're just trying to get in there and get after it and have to create change, obviously it takes time and effort. So find one that you can do, start today, and be consistent. Because and that's the thing too. People always ask me like, "Hey man, like oh, how long do I look like you?" I'm like, "Well, it's actually I was at this card show, and I try not to laugh at the guy. I was like, oh." And the guy's like, "Oh, I've worked out here and there and stuff, and like I was kind of wondering, how long it would take me to kind of, maybe like build like your size or get close to you." And I was like, "Well, I'm trying to be nice, not to be like, oh, never." And I go, "Well, we could, it's gonna take a while, and you got to do this, that." And he goes, "Like, I'm gonna like a few weeks or like what?" I go, "A few weeks." I was like, "The hell are you talking about? A few weeks?" Like and like I tried to laugh because he was serious. He wasn't like just joking with me, and I'm like, oh my god, this guy. And I go, so I broke it down this way, which I do. I go, if you want to learn a foreign language, I go, if you want to learn a musical instrument, a martial art, something like that, I go, do you think you can learn it in a few weeks? And he goes, well, no. I go, yeah, you probably can't have a big significant change in a few weeks either. I go, but if you start, I mean, there will be a change gradually. I go over a few weeks, sure. I go, but I mean, it's gonna take a while, man. You can't cheat the time. It's gonna take a while.
Yeah.
He's like,
How
oh,
many
okay.
how many calories do you consume a day? I'm curious.
Not as much as I used to. So there's an unwritten rule that it's twice as much to gain, half as much to maintain.
Yeah.
I also have like big meal wise stuff, but like I actually even eat like I was eating closer to 7 meals a day every single day, and I probably eat 5.5 now more often than not. I'm also burning less calories with so I'm not working out as much and doing as much cardio and stuff like that with my knee. But I don't know. I probably eat. I always guesstimate I'm eating like 3,500 or so, like that, somewhere around there. I mean, the most I ever ate when I was like trying to add size was closer to like 5,500.
Wow.
And people even see that, hear that, I go, but that's rice and chicken breast and egg whites and like, so that's a lot of food. 5,500 calories from McDonald's isn't that rough to get to, but when you're eating 5,500 calories of clean food, oh man, I would have to take breaks because my jaw would hurt. I would get tired from eating because there's so much food to chew, and like it was rough. It was rough.
Yeah.
So let's talk about, we talk about the good food, the good and the healthy stuff. Let's talk about cheat meals.
There we go.
That's what
There we
I
go.
want to talk about. What's your go-to cheat meal? Like, what is like the ultimate indulgence for you?
So I'm a big sweets guy, so I can turn down. I mean, I like pizza and burgers and all that, but I can turn down real food all day long. But if somebody brings me some baked goods, oof, especially if it's like a homemade thing, because now I can't replicate that. I can't get that somewhere else, and I have to know how it tastes. That's my deal. Cookies, brownies, any sort of baked good, sweets, desserts. That's my jam. Um, uh, it's funny actually. After we're done with this, I'm actually gonna go do. I'm supposed to go to this like really cool, like best in the world, supposed like this fantastic looking shawarma wrap that has this pop up here in Vegas. They were only supposed to be here for a few weeks and only one day a week, every Saturday. And I've been gone the last few Saturdays, and they have it again today. And I'm gonna go with this like little foodie influencer guy, Anthony, and we're supposed to go meet up over there after this to go get one. And I, and it's funny too because I don't like eating off diet more than once. And we did this really cool experience. Melissa and I, my wife and I, this Mad Hatter tea party situation at Caesar Palace yesterday. It's just really unique, like immersive, like food, like experience, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was really neat, but also like I was even telling her like it's like tea time, so like it's pretty much just a bunch of treats, which was I love. It was awesome. It was right up my alley, and I ate so much of it all. And even then, I go, oh man, we're supposed to do that shawarma thing today. I go, I still feel kind of crappy from eating bad yesterday all damn day. I go, I don't really want to do it, but I don't want to cancel now. I'm like, ah. I'm like, man, then it sucks because now it's like I'm gonna go eat this, but I don't want to cheat. That's the worst because I'm like, yeah, I'm sure it's still gonna be phenomenal, but then you don't have the same reward indulgence feeling. You're like, damn it, why'd I eat that? But here we are. That's the struggle.
I feel you, man. I eat as clean as I possibly can. I have exceptions, but like one of my big things is I'm originally from Boston, and there's these things called Drake's coffee cakes, and they are absolutely the most amazing piece of heaven in the world. And that's my only cheat is
That's from the Seinfeld show.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I know that you're a huge comic book guy. I know
Yep.
you are.
As evidenced
Oh,
by
yes, that's
your
behind me, yeah.
stuff.
I mean, we can see it in the background. You called yourself Swolverine. I guess kind of what I want to know is what other characters are you currently into in terms of comic books and pop culture and stuff like that?
I mean, there's plenty of characters I like. I'm big fans of. My my favorite, like just comic character in general, after Wolverine.
So Wolverine's number one.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Yeah, somebody on Twitter asked me, they're like, "Oh, who's your favorite?" And I go, "I'm pretty sure you could probably guess. Just I'm just guessing that you could probably guess and get it right." But Magneto is actually my second favorite. I love Magneto. But I'm a fan of Cable. I'm looking at things I have: Cable, Venom, Punisher. I really like Punisher. I absolutely despise Superman. Can't stand him. Can't stand him. I really
Did
like
you like
Batman.
the Superman movie though?
I did, and it was really good. Actually, I don't like Superman because he can do everything. He has no weaknesses. He just invents. It's not fun. I'm like,
Yeah.
And he's such a vanilla, bland character too.
Yeah.
He's got nothing interesting about him. He's not cool. He's like, it's just, ugh. And I'm always like, look, just take Superman to Krypton, and everyone could beat his ass because then he has no superpowers.
Yeah.
But yeah, Superman. The fact that it opened up with him on the cell, essentially like almost like he was dying. I go, oh, that's different.
Yeah.
And it was really good. I gave it props. It was really good. I did like
Saving the squirrel was the best part of the whole
Yeah.
movie.
And it's so funny. So I like Man of Steel a lot. I didn't want to see that either. My son wanted to go see it, my older son, and I did actually end up liking that one a lot too because of how not comic book Superman was. Like like I like the fact that he's killing people and that he wasn't saving everybody, and that he wasn't John Cena Superman.
Yeah.
And then this one though, I did pop for that. That was more comic accurate for how goody two shoe he was, in essence, in saving the squirrel and stuff.
So
And then
who's on your Mount Rushmore for comics?
It's funny, no one's even asked me that. I mean, I guess Wolverine and Magneto have to be on there. Those are the top two. Man, who would the other two be? It's funny because I have like moments where like I like that guy from this thing or from this episode or this comic book or wherever else. I mean, because that could be a wild thought about a question. Because I feel like any certain day of the week it could be like Juggernaut and the Hulk. It could be Doctor Strange.
You're more of a Marvel guy then.
Oh, for sure. Like my only I do like Batman a lot. I hate Batman fans though. Like I hate Superman as much as I hate Batman fans because Superman can do everything. Batman fans think Batman can just freaking beat anybody and everybody. If he has enough prep, shut the fuck. No, he can't. Like I look at this Wolverine versus Batman stuff, and we always have that question.
Yeah.
And I go, Wolverine absolutely annihilates Batman. Get out of here. I was like, shut. And they go, well, if you had enough prep time, you had a big magnet. I go, okay. Well, with the right writer, of course, they can make sense of how Harley Quinn can beat Superman. Yeah, whatever. But I'm like, no, I'm talking about if Logan and Bruce Wayne walk down an alley, Logan's walking out alive and Batman's dead in pieces. Like, let's get real. Like, what? Like, another, it's funny also because when people, like, yeah, Batman is awesome and everything about it is great. But, like, even then, you look at Batman's villains, what villain has a remote chance against any member of the X-Men? I mean, not at all.
None.
Not even a bit. Like, come on. Maybe Clayface, and Croc could do something, but outside of that,
Clayface movie coming out.
I'm stoked for that. As a kid, Croc and Clayface were the two guys I always wanted to see. I like them because they're the actual, mutants, if you will. And the fact that it's going to be rated R is super cool.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a horror film.
It is a horror film, yeah.
So it's all Venom. I mean, even though I like the Venom movies, it's like how it should have been. I remember I knew the CG guy. He's a top special effects guy for Legacy Effects. They have they do all the Marvel movies. I've done a lot of tours, and I remember he was showing me clips of Venom and Carnage because Carnage was going to be in the first Venom movie that they were making and rendering before it came out, and it was rated R. And then they cut a crap ton out of it to make it PG-13, and then they took Carnage out of it because they thought he was such a big enough character he could be his own film. But I'm like, man, and even with that too, to have Carnage, who's a psychopath, and not have the movie rated R was such a waste as well.
Exactly. I love Carnage as a bad guy too.
Oh yeah, like that's a good comic. The miniseries Deadpool versus Carnage, that was fantastic. Just because both those guys are absolutely insane and just So there's a lot of guys that aren't my favorite, but they're all right at the top of the card.
Who did we put on your Mount Rushmore? Did you say?
I just said Wolverine and Magneto. Then I said, Hulk probably would be there because I said I could switch. I mean, as I'm looking around, like I said, there's always moments where I really like Cable for a long time. I was a big fan of Iceman for a while.
Iceman underrated.
Yeah, I said I love actually more. The only character that's ever really changed my opinion was from the MCU was Doctor Strange. I really like Doctor Strange a whole lot more. Yeah. Mr. Sinister's cool. I'm trying to think. In DC, my favorite DC character is probably Lobo.
Lobo, he's awesome.
He's so good.
Lobo's great.
So that kind of leads to my next question.
Obviously, there's Bane too because I've been Bane. Bane's cool, but
yeah.
We have the DC AEW crossover here. They got the collab project. If they were to have you in the comic book, who would you want to team up with?
Like from the DC universe?
Yeah.
I mean, well, probably because I just said that too. And I just complain. I go, "How's the only guy that looks like a damn superhero not in the superhero comic book?" I'm like, "Come on now, what?"
Right?
I would probably, as I just said, would probably be Bane, just because I feel like I've dressed up like Bane. I can, being a heel and stuff. I think I could relate and be with Bane, and then he could just throw me some of his venom, and now we're both Bane. Let's go.
Yeah.
Along the same lines, you did the He-Man fan film.
Yep. Actually, yeah. I don't know if you guys can see my name. I saw my name from the last time I did.
Yeah, that's awesome.
because I did. It was a He-Man thing. So when they said, "Oh, you have to add your name in," I put that. Now that's just already there. Cage, the most powerful man in the universe.
Well, that's what reminded me to ask this question.
Speaking of film, I know that you, Lance Archer, and Chavo are going to be in Steven Spielberg's next film. My question is, like, I'm a filmmaker. That's what I do for a living. What's it like to be attached to probably one of America's greatest filmmakers ever?
Well,
in
I'll
Steven
tell you this right
Spielberg?
now. How it came about. I've told this story a few times now too. But how it came about was, um, Travel hit me up because, hey, I have this movie role that I think you would fit well into, um, and I'm gonna give this guy's contact information. He's interested in talking to you. So just hit him up. It's like, okay, so I do. Then he asked me to, fill out the stuff, submit these things, whatever. So I do it all. And much like a lot of different audition, situations I've been in, you usually don't hear back, and then it just kind of goes by the wayside, and it's done. So I go, after a few weeks, I haven't heard anything. So I'm like, oh, I guess it's not happening, whatever. And I don't even really know what it is, what it's for. He just said it was a movie. I don't know if that means motion picture. Just so I don't know. I have no idea. So the guy hits me up out of nowhere and goes, "Hey, I just watched your stuff with the director. He absolutely loves you. He goes, loves everything about you, your look, your charisma, your personality. He wants you for the spot in the film. He's excited to have you. Please call me immediately." So I call him, and he goes, "Yeah, so I'm watching it. Watch your stuff." And Steven's like, "Oh yeah, this guy's great. This is the guy. Like, don't look at anybody else. Get him. Call him right now. Whatever." And I go, "Steven?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, so that's the director." He goes, "Steven Spielberg." And I go, "What?" And then I pop even harder because it's one thing to be in a Steven Spielberg movie, but
Yeah.
the fact that you're telling me Spielberg just looked at my stuff, watched me, and said, "This is the guy. That's the guy I want right here, Brian Cage." And I go, "That's the biggest flex ever. I don't give a damn what you say."
It is. It's huge.
So it was so cool. And then they go, "Hey, we wanted another big guy in the movie. I don't know who you'd be comfortable with, or there's somebody you like more, or whatever. I want to suggest." And I'm actually, well, is there certain specs about it? And he goes, "Well, we want a big guy, but like definitely big from you." And I go, like my partner, because I know they did see photos with me and Lance. And he goes, "Yeah, we actually were going to ask about him, but we didn't know, like, if like you would want that or not." And I go, "Oh yeah, no, it's like I'm real good friends with Lance, so that's great." And they're like, "Yeah, okay, well, we were thinking because we already saw you two together that would go well, but you can give us some other suggestions and whatnot, but and we'll decide, but we want to just get your choices rather than us trying to choose for you." So that was cool too. Then they basically were like, "Oh hey, who do you want to come in with you?" And then obviously they picked Lance, and then Chav was the one that got the gig essentially, so that's why he was involved. But yeah, it was great. But definitely the moment of my year was not shooting the film, but was being told that Steven Spielberg was like, "That's the guy I want." Like that was amazing.
That's incredible. I mean, I've met a lot of great filmmakers in the 20 plus years that I've been one, and I have never met Steven Spielberg. That is on my bucket list, like
Yeah, he
100%.
was really cool too, and he was a huge wrestling fan. He was talking to us about a bunch of old school stuff, and he was like, "Yeah, I'm so surprised I've never actually done more stuff with wrestling." And he was intrigued with wanting to come to one of our shows. He goes, "Oh, we got a pay-per-view in LA, next week or whatever. We were shooting it." And he goes, "Oh, well, obviously I'll still be out here, shooting the movie." He goes, "But yeah, if I'm ever around or in town, you guys are there." He goes, "I absolutely would love to go to a show." I'm like, "I'm sure they would probably be pretty happy on having you." Like, I'm sure
Yeah.
that would work out pretty well.
Let's talk indie wrestling. And specifically, we're good friends with Luke Roberts, the guy who created Kill City Cup.
Yep.
What was it like working on something that is half professional wrestling and the other half like a haunted carnival?
So I remember when he was first talking about it, and he was trying to get me about to be on it, and I was booked, or I just wasn't available that weekend. He shot like the first bit, and then I saw the clip of Natalie getting destroyed through that table, and I was like, "Oh damn, that was gangster," And I thought it was done. He goes, "Oh, that was just like the demo reel, so to speak." He goes, "We're gonna do it. I really want you as this character, yada yada yada." And I go, "Oh, okay," and I still didn't really fully know what to expect. I go, "All right, fine, I guess let's do it." And then when I got there and saw how it was put together, I thought it was so neat. And actually, the final product is still really cool. But man, if it would have been, yeah, obviously, if it had much more of a production and budget. I was like, that whole concept actually would be. I mean, the concept is phenomenal. So like, I think it could have just been portrayed to the max effort. I think it would be incredibly great. But yeah, it was really neat to have like that, Bloodsport, Mortal Kombat kind of vibe, but have it be pro wrestling. It was very, very cool.
So along the same sort of lines, Kill City Cup kind of reminded me of Lucha Underground.
Yeah.
A little bit, because of the so like I know I hate when people bring up the cinematic matches, and I know the Hardy stuff they did in TNA was super over, and that kind of like span it up. I'm like, dude, the first cinematic stuff, like the true cinematic stuff, was Lucha Underground, and everything about Lucha Underground was so great because it was so different. Everybody wanted something different. Well, because everything's normally like just WWE light, you know what I mean? It's like, oh, we're just trying to do what WWE does. Where Lucha Underground was completely original and its own concept. And I mean, I punched a guy's head off and walked out on his eyeball. Like, it was so great. And then the rest of it was just unparalleled. And there's no limits. If you had 6 minutes or 16 minutes, we'd go out there and just do everything you want to do and have the fucking greatest match possible. And there's no politicking because since it was a TV show, it was a TV show about wrestling, not a wrestling show on TV.
Yeah.
This is a TV show. They already have like it written out, like how it's supposed to go, like you would on a TV show. So there is no politicking to be like, hey, can I work this guy? Hey, can I go over in this match? Hey, you know what I mean? There's just, this is what's done. And because it was so new and we're all kind of working together, obviously you just want the best product possible. So that's so I always said, like, at 10 years old, when I wanted to be a pro wrestler, it wasn't until and only at Lucha Underground that I felt the way I thought I would be to be a pro wrestler at 10 years old. Like, that was like really accomplished, like the dream, and felt like this is what it is. But yeah, so I did have like the things, but yeah, Lucha Underground though was just so much more. And obviously, if it had Lucha Underground's budget, it could have been in that regard. And I don't know if you're going to touch on it because I know we did beforehand, but yes, I've always been a big fan of Markova. I got her booked at AEW as an extra a couple times originally, and I always thought her bumping and her selling was incredible. Going back to that bump to that table too from the very first bit of the Kill City Cup demo, and then getting to work with her in the finals. Because there's different ways too. You can watch someone and think they're good or like their work, and then working with them is a whole different aspect too, to realize how good they are or aren't, or how much you like them. And from just my flavor of ice cream, I love the fact that she lays her shit in. My biggest complaint with a lot of girl wrestling is how phony it looks. Or when I say that, like a lot of them, when they throw a strike, they throw it with zero intent. Like, they're throwing, they might touch them, but there's no intent. Obviously, we're not trying to knock anybody out with her. If I'm going to hit them, we're not going to try to take their face off. But when it looks like you're not trying to cause them any bodily harm whatsoever, like, then it's like, okay, well, now you just erased everything for me. Like, you got to have some sort of. So the fact that Natalie throws stuff in there and safely, it's not she's killing you or anything, and throws it with intent was great. I love how she takes everything and sells it and bumps her ass. Like, I mean, yeah, I remember during that match, during Kill City Cup, just a couple of things she'd take, or especially like the curb stomp when she's in the splits and stuff. And I'm like in the moment inside, I'm like, jeez, this girl's dying right now. This is awesome. Like, so big props to her.
So I became friends with her on Twitter at the time, and we just started talking, and she said you should start a podcast.
Oh, really?
And without her, then we don't have this.
Oh, wow.
So it was really cool. And without her on our podcast, you probably wouldn't be here either.
Yeah, I think that was funny too that you used that clip. I was like, all right, yeah, okay, we'll do it. Yeah, no, she's great. She's great. I'm glad that she's blown more too. It's funny as well because I don't remember how I first came across her. I actually think it was from Hammerstone's page, and then she commented on something I saw or whatever else. And obviously too, she's got a lot of TNA and sex appeal photos and whatnot. So I'm like, who's this chick? I don't know who this chick is. Like, she's really a wrestler. Because it's kind of like, I guess I used to be judged like book by cover like that too. People would see me and see my physique and think, oh, I must be the drizzling shits because I'm in shape and I'm jacked. So like the unwritten rule is, okay, if you look like a bodybuilder, you probably just aren't athletic. You can't do anything. So the same thing. If I see a girl out there just flaunting her goods, so to speak, I'm like, all right, well, this girl's a wrestler. Can she actually wrestle? Or she's just getting by showing off her cleavage or whatever. So then when I went to her page and I saw some of her clips, I'm like, oh, damn, this girl's going in. I go, who? I've never seen this girl. Who's like? Then I'm always more shocked when there's somebody that's been wrestling, especially for a little while, and they're really good, and I have no idea who they are. I've never heard of them or seen them. Then I'm more like perplexed. And then that's why we started talking to her. And then I was like, dude, I'm gonna try to get you into AEW because I'm like, this chick's awesome. So I know she's contract now with NWA and has been there for a long time. So I'm glad she's doing something and is working more and more and more. Hey, she won the Jericho tournament / cruise that we're on. So a tournament to see. But yeah, I feel like she's very as great as she is. I still feel like she's pretty underrated for people to realize how good in the ring she is, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I know that you had a program with Sting while when he was still in AEW. Is there any advice that Sting gave you, either in the ring or outside of the ring, backstage in the locker room, that you've kind of taken with you since he's left full-time wrestling?
Not necessarily, because I don't think it's funny. Sting was, and even like other guys from TNA and stuff would talk about that when Sting was there, which was obviously long ago. How like it's almost comical how like giving and friendly. Like Sting and Rey Mysterio, for their legendary status, are the two nicest guys in the business, hands down. And it would be so funny how like almost like, hey, so what do you guys want to do? Like we're almost Sting's coming up like he's a rookie and you're the vet. Maybe that's an exaggeration, but he was so much more open to like, hey, what do you guys want? Like what like. So it was almost like he was coming to you, and not for advice, but it was so wild. Like, what? You're Sting. What are you talking about? Like, what do you want to do? But yeah, I mean, and it was awesome, like, to give him his first bump back. And it was a little, I try to think about it, because I'm like, if I powerbomb him absolutely perfectly, and anything that by chance goes wrong, it's my fault. Even if it's not my fault, it's my fault,
Yes.
And then Sting was actually the very first wrestling figure I've ever had. I remember I got for Christmas.
Nice.
Right back in the day, yeah. So for him to be my very first, wrestling toy, and then sitting there years later, powerbombing on TV after he was retired for 6 years was incredible.
Yeah.
And that actually, we're talking cinematic earlier. That, I don't care what anybody says about AJ Undertaker, that is the best cinematic match of all time. It's for Darby and Sting, because also it's actually cinematic. It's not just a match filmed outside, you know what I mean? Like the way we did the intros and then the cars and I don't know if you've seen the match in its entirety, but like, there's so many cool cinematic aspects that are just unbelievable throughout that whole match.
It's one of my top.
Do you have to go right at the hour here, or do we have a little bit of leeway?
Oh, we have a little bit of leeway. I know I do have to get to this. I said that foodie influencer situation.
Yeah,
but yeah, we don't have to like rush.
Okay. So what was it like working with Tessa Blanchard in TNA? And is there anything you do different in intergender matches?
So like the stuff with Tessa and TNA was like whatever, because I work with Tessa a lot more on the indies, because I'm like best friends with Tessa. So and I actually don't like intergender matches at all. And I only did them because they were fat, they're popular, and these are people that are so good. The women I wrestled with, and I was friends with, but more so it was almost like a flex, like especially with someone like me. Obviously, there's even a bigger spectrum of difference and believability in intergender matches, as opposed to an average person in wrestling and a female. But I was like, all right, look at this. It was kind of a flex. Like, look, I'm gonna go have an intergender match, and I'm gonna have an awesome one, and make it as what I mean, and make people even more shocked and believed about it. So it was more of just like I can wrestle anyone and everyone and make it freaking awesome. Watch, check this out. And I'm not to my own horn. Now I think my Wrestle Circus match with Tessa being one of the best intergender matches, but I also feel like I don't feel like I really get enough appreciation. I know there's some people, I don't feel like I get appreciation for how good a lot of my intergender matches were with different people. That being said, though, I was not thrilled with the TNA one, and actually, I didn't want to put Tessa over in that situation, and because I was like that kind of. You guys had me kill everybody, and I know we made sense in how I came out earlier in the gauntlet situation and blah blah with the roll up, and obviously I was so super stoked for Tessa, be my friend, to go on and to beat Sammy, become the first world champion. That was a female and everything else, fantastic. But yeah, no, I wasn't a big fan of it. And funny enough, too, I'm gonna throw Don Callis under the bus. I remember he was hot about me working with Tessa on the Indies because he was pushing me as such a monster in TNA, and I was like, yeah, but look at the match. Like we have like over millions of views on the Wrestle Circus one, and we're over and it's fun and yada yada. And he was like, oh, well, we never do that, here or whatever else. And I don't remember, like as a joke one time he said something. He goes, oh, well, it's not for having you booking you against Tessa and having you lose to her or something like that. And I laughed and I was like, oh yeah, because I know how you feel about that. And then when they did book that, I was like, hey, wait a minute. um, but no, I mean, going back, do I regret changing things? No, it didn't change any trajectory. I've seen some people like say that too online, like, "Oh, Brian Cage's career ended once he lost to Tessa." Well, actually, they say once he lost the world title to Tessa, which I did not. I lost the world title to Sami Callihan, and then I lost to Tessa in the gauntlet match. But no, it is what it is. I've never lost any sleep or ever thought again about it. And it was a cool moment that still just elevated her. So yeah, no.
Go ahead, Candy Dry.
You might you might not be able to answer this, but with stars being added to the Don Callis family NWO style, like Andrade,
Clone.
is there any? Do you think that you might be face or something when you come back to AEW?
I mean, I have no idea about any sort of creative plans for a return at all at this point. So, I mean, I guess anything could be possible. It's funny, too, because I know I don't think Don wanted that many people to begin with. And then I thought he kind of thought it was like funny and he was almost doing it like comically against it. Like, oh, okay, like making a joke about it, start adding people. And then now it's like over the fact that like everyone's just like joining the Don Callis family.
Yeah.
So it's quite comical. So yeah, I guess I come back and join them and be, super team, or I don't know. I don't know why I would fight against them though. Like nothing's happened, so I'm not really sure what's going on.
I saw you tweet about something about the Don Callis family, like maybe hinting at that.
Yes, I don't. Well, because like I'm just kind of playing the opportunity. I know because like I don't remember what Don had said, so I was just like kind of jabbing him back. But I mean, yeah, there's a whole wide open of versatility of what could happen because there's nothing set in stone at all for when I'm coming back or what I'm going to do when I come back.
Yeah. All right. My favorite match in AEW has always been Blood and Guts. I love Blood and Guts. If you are in Blood and Guts, who are your teammates?
And
All time.
So from anywhere, anything doesn't matter.
Yeah, could be Bret Hart, could be Hulk Hogan.
Well, top my four teammates. Let's go. So I mean, I guess I could just go with all my favorites then. I guess I'd have to go with Kanyon, Shawn Michaels. Who was more fun though that I had to be partners with? Maybe Kanyon, Shawn Michaels, Kurt Angle, and you know what? We'll bring another body guy in there just for the fun of it too. I'll say Prime Big Papa Pump.
Oh, all right.
Holla if you hear me.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So what are some? Do you have any like non-wrestling goals right now?
978 1 second. Hold on, I gotta send my wife this code. Sorry, 97323. Oh my God, where did it just go? 97330. 97330. Boom. Non-wrestling goals. Nah, I don't think so, not necessarily. I mean, I'm always going after different, physical goals and whatever I'm trying to do. As of like for instance, like I want to get back to 100% healthy. There's different things I want to get back to doing that I used to, was doing before surgery, and I want to improve on before surgery. I definitely want to go back to skateboarding. That was one thing too, actually, why I wanted
Really?
to. And not like major skating. Just I was out kicking my skateboard around with my daughter when she's on her scooter, and it was killing my knee. And I was like, no, this is bullcrap. I can't be too old to skateboard. And I go, man, I got to get back to doing this. And so when it's healed, that's one thing I want to get back to doing. So nothing like, no like major.
No Darby Allin stuff.
Oh, no. I'm just on flip tricks on the ground, right? So.
Well, I mean, that's it. That's the end of the show, guys. Brian, it has been an absolute honor.
Is there anything you wanna plug or anything you want to say?
I mean, what? I mean, I don't do a lot of stuff. I got another comic signing on October 25th in Lodi, California, up in Northern California. Close, not super close, but a little close to my hometown at Chico. Outside of that, I mean, we plugged the movie. That's due. The Stephen Spielberg movie's due.
Do you know the name of the movie yet?
No, I just know the code name. But the movie I heard, which is crazy, it says it's supposed to go on summer of 26.
Yeah.
Which that's not very far away. So I don't know. I don't know how much I believe that, because it seems like there'd be more known about it if it was going to come out that soon. But who knows? Outside of that, yeah, I don't know. There's much else.
How far of a return to wrestling are you?
I'm not telling anybody that.
Okay.
I don't want anybody to know. I don't want anybody to have an inkling. I want everybody to have no idea of maybe around this time, because maybe it's next week, maybe it's next year, maybe I don't know. Who knows?
You know, it'd be cool. It would be like your intro to AEW when you came and you just ripped the ladder apart.
The ladder in half, which
you
also
did it again.
They made that ladder for me to break in half, and they're like, "Oh, we can't make it for it to break in half. It'll just the little latches in the middle will break, so it'll just lay flat. So you'll break the ladder, but it won't tear completely in half. It's like we can't make it do that." And then when I did it, I fucking tore it in half, and they're like, "Oh shit!" Like, and then when I tore it in half, I remember too, because he said it wasn't going to, so I just went to tear as hard as I could, and it did tear in half. And then one piece, if anybody goes back and watches it, it flies right by Taz's face and almost takes him out, which would have been jokingly incredible if I would have debuted and then killed my manager. Like, oh, my bad. Yeah, so I do want, that's one thing too. I want this to be a good way to like re-debut, so to speak. That's why I don't want anybody to know anything. And I mean, we'll see in what way, obviously, I come back, how, when, where, why. But I kind of want this to be a good way to be like, okay, I've been out for a while, glass half full of being hurt and being gone for a significant amount of time. Yeah. Is kind of a way to like re-debut. So we'll see what happens.
All right, guys.
Could you do us the honor of just raise your fist in the air, Brian, and say, just keep fighting.
Just keep fighting.
There we go.
There we go. All right, guys. That's the end of the show. We will see you later. All the links are down below. Clickety-clack on your keyboards. Join our socials. Join our leagues.
Pick up a t-shirt.
Get a t-shirt while you're at it. ProWrestlingTees.com/effing wrestling, where you get all your effing wrestling gear. On behalf of Canada Dry, on behalf of Brian Cage, I am the almighty JFB.
Just keep fighting.
I got my mic turned on and I'm ready to go. It's time for the All Effing Wrestling Show.